Welcome, everybody. I would like to welcome you to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for this June 7th. Before I call roll, I wanted to thank everyone for being here, including those people who are attending remotely and for those who are watching on Channel 14 or streaming live. As noted at the top of the agenda, the governor has issued an executive order in March that allows the commission members to participate remotely. For those in attendance tonight, we have set up the room according to CDC recommended good distancing guidelines and the executive order from the governor. The city has made also several accommodations for the public to provide comments to the agenda items. With that, I'd like to move for an approval, ask for a motion for approval on the agenda, or if there are any deletions.
Let's do a roll call first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Roll call first, please.
Becker.
Here?
McMahon. O'Flaherty.
Here.
Pena Graham.
Here.
Wright.
Here.
Chair Maxwell.
Here.
We have a quorum.
With that, if there are any additions or deletions to the agenda, if not, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Wright,
Second?
seconded by Mr. Becker. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. So moved. I'll ask for approval of the minutes from the May 17th meeting, or if there are any comments or adjustments.
I move to approve as written.
Moved by Mr. Flaherty,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Wright. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. This is the public participation portion. If anyone has anything they'd like to say that's not related to the agenda, you may step forward. I don't believe so. Tonight we have a public hearing, a petition by T-Mobile Central LLC, represented by NTP Wireless, to amend the special use permit approved by ordinance 2018-003 to expand the equipment platform and antennas in relation to an upgrade to the T-Mobile communications equipment on the top of the building at 507 East Taylor Street. I understand we have the presenter on a Zoom call with us.
Yes, Amanda Wagerson with NTP Wireless is on Zoom, so.
Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you. Good evening.
You can go right ahead, Amanda.
Okay, wonderful. As stated, my name is Amanda Wegerson. I'm here from NTP Wireless as agent on behalf of T-Mobile Central LLC, commonly known as T-Mobile. T-Mobile is seeking approval for the replacement and installation of panel antennas, remote radios and radio modules, and base station equipment. And this is located on the rooftop of 507 East Taylor Street. I will get into some details, so please bear with me, a lot of numbers here. There are currently 3 active antenna arrays on the rooftop. T-Mobile is installed at a center line, of 148 feet. That is approximately 7 feet above the top of the roof. Overall, there will be a reduction in equipment. 9 existing antennas will be replaced with 6 new. 12 remote radios will be replaced with 6 new. 3 COVP boxes, which are cable over voltage protection boxes. Those will go from 3 to 1. Hybrid cables will be replaced on a 1-for-1 basis. There are currently 3 installed. Those will be removed and replaced with 3 new. And all 24 coax lines, which are currently installed, will be removed. T-Mobile will be replacing 2 existing sleds, which are the mounting structure that the antennas are currently installed on, with 2 new. Those will be installed in the exact same location as current. T-Mobile will also replace 2 existing cabinets with 2 new, and will remove and replace the radio modules that are installed on the equipment platform and are currently visible inside the cabinet. T-Mobile has also proposed a 3-foot platform extension and will install a safety handrail around the perimeter of the platform. That's needed for the clearance from the cabinets in order for T-Mobile employees to safely access and be on the roof. All equipment will be concealed using the same concealment foam that was utilized in the last upgrade. And Dan, thank you for moving these slides. This is an example of the concealment foam on the cabinets here. You can see the film that's been installed to look like the brick facade. And on the antennas, there's a reflective film that reflects the sky so that it looks more like the clouds. And I think for the remainder of the presentation here, there are some examples from the last upgrade, which show the result of that film being installed. This is the correct photo simulations of the current and proposed. Happy to answer any other questions.
Dan, did you have anything to add before?
Yeah, I'll just go through the staff report. So back on February 12th, 2018, the council approved and went through the commission a initial approval of an ordinance, approved a special use permit for the existing T-Mobile cellular equipment that was on top. They had not received a special use permit before, so they're legal non-conforming. We had them come in and get a special use permit to, they were going to upgrade equipment at that time, which they did. So the supporting docs that was provided in the packet indicate the petitioner is proposing modifications, as Amanda went through, regarding the site, and these are the upgrades are intended to bring it up to 5G technology. So the goal is providing reliable service to the DeKalb area. That's where they're doing the upgrade. They're expanding a little bit beyond what they have, adding some new antennas, so it was enough of a change where we determined they would need to amend the ordinance, because the one from 18 did approve some specific plans. There was enough change where we thought there should be an amendment in a public hearing, so they went through that process. There's two other carriers up there. U.S. Cellular went through a recent upgrade too a few months ago. There's another carrier up there also. The UDO does require special use permits for antenna on existing non-tower structures. Amanda went through the changes, but in summary, they're expanding the platform footprint by about 40 square feet. And it's shown on one of the drawings there, which show the different areas. The relocated is in yellow, the proposed is in the light blue. Adding 6 new antennas to the rooftop, 9 are actually being removed antennas. Relocating, adding onto an existing equipment cabinet, adding 1 new cabinet. And also, as noted, concealment film will be added to the mast, new cabinets, antennas, and equipment. So we had to do this originally in 2018, which they did. That's a picture actually at the top showing the it's like a mirror. It just mirrors the sky so that you can see the side of it here on the antenna. And also they put the brick film on the cabinet to make it blend in with the existing brick structure behind it. And these are a couple of photos that I took that show the concealment film on the top here in the blue, kind of reflects the sky, so it blends in a little better than the other carriers up there. U.S. Cellular hasn't done the work yet, but they'll be adding that too. So that kind of helps in conceal the equipment on top. Works very well. So we're having them do the new equipment and antennas in the same type of film. With any type of, the UDO does require standards for any antenna facility, so they've provided those. I went through the staff report, summarizes all those. They meet all the requirements as they did before in 2018 regarding points of visual interest. They're protecting those, the color, the height. They're not exceeding the height of the antenna above the building. Lighting is not required by the FAA. There's no fencing or security requirements since they're on top of the building. No additional noise will be generated. So this will bring increased service to T-Mobile customers in the area, which is a good thing. Also have the findings of fact for the special use that we do for every special use, which they're meeting. All those requirements, and we'd recommend approval. We did not receive any public comments at the time posting of the agenda on Thursday. There's a sample motion provided that approves the special use permit amendment, and approves Exhibit A, which is the drawings, which I showed a couple of the sheets there, labeled January 8th, 2021. Requires the concealment film on the new cabinets, antennas, and antenna pipes to minimize the visual effect of the surrounding area. And finally, they're required to submit, after approval by the city council, applying for a building permit, meeting all the requirements of the building code and the FCC also, so per our UDO. Certainly answer any questions you may have, or Amanda can too. But that's all I had, thanks.
If there's anyone from the public that would like to speak to this, you may now. If not, I will close the public hearing and open it up for discussion. Any questions? I did have one, Amanda, this is strange, but the reflective tape that mirrors the sky, it didn't dawn on me until this time when we were looking at it. How does that prevent it from reflecting sunlight straight down and creating like hot spots? I'm sure there's a way, but.
Probably Amanda could probably answer that.
That's actually, I'm not sure about. I'm not sure, I guess the angle that the sunlight would need to hit in order for that to happen. I think I would need to defer to the manufacturer and see if they have an answer for me there. They did provide the diagram. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Again, it's just out of curiosity, but like I said, it dawned on me that if it's reflecting the sky, if the sun hits it, it would logically shine back down in some angle.
There's probably at some angle where it you see the sun, but this from the ground, from what I've seen when looking up, it just reflects the general sky above there. It's not maybe there's a point where the sun hits it, but it's such a small little area there that I've not seen that. I've not heard we've not heard any complaints or anything from the area of that happening.
Any other questions? Sorry. With that, I'll open it up I will ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make it. Based upon the submitted petition and testimony presented, I move the Planning and Zoning Commission forward its findings of fact and recommend to the City Council approval of an amendment to the special use permit approved by Ordinance 2018-003 to expand the equipment platform and antennas in relation to an upgrade to the T-Mobile communications equipment on top of a 16-story building at 507 East Taylor Street, subject to the following. Point 1, the antennas and equipment upgrades shall comply with the drawings dated 1/8/21 indicated on Exhibit A. Point 2, concealment film shall be applied to the new cabinets, antennas, and antenna pipes to minimize the visual effect of the surrounding area. And point 3, the applicant is required to submit the necessary application and plans to the city in compliance with applicable building codes and the regulations of Article 7.08 of the UDO, Wireless Communications Ordinance.
So moved by Mr. Becker. May I ask for a second?
I second.
Seconded by O'Flaherty. Roll call.
Becker,
Yes?
McMahon, O'Flaherty,
Yes.
Pena Graham,
Yes.
Wright. Chair Maxwell.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. I'll open it up for staff discussion. I understand we have a couple of things to review today.
Yes.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you,
Yep.
Amanda.
She's out.
All right, you're there.
I appreciate your time this evening. Thank you.
Yeah, next item is just a discussion, not a public hearing. No official action needed by the commission, but looking at updating our comp plan from 2005. So that's one of the main tasks of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Now, we review a lot of zoning petitions and variances, rezoning, special use permits, but one of the duties per state law and our municipal code for the commission is to recommend a comprehensive plan to the city council and conduct a public hearing. So certainly the commission will be heavily involved in this process. So laid out a memo just kind of going a little bit of background. We also can plan an area a mile and a half from the city's boundaries. That's allowed per state law. So our latest plan was from 2005. We've had a lot of sub-area studies and plans done since then, and they're listed in the memo. But we look at, so this plans the city in terms of land use, economic development, transportation, and it usually goes out maybe 5 to 10 years at a time. That's how far we look. I gave a little background on just general comprehensive planning. Each city's plan is a little bit different, but there's some common elements, I think, and the ones we've approved in the past certainly follow this. You kind of look at existing conditions. You discuss future trends, goals, getting public input regarding these. You take a look at land use patterns, housing conditions, population, roadways. Those are the things you're kind of planning. Infrastructure, certainly. Also could look at or get input from the other taxing districts, looking at educational, recreational facilities. They're also reviewed. The comprehensive plan deals with land use related, and the major thing usually generated from the plan is the future land use plan, which is shown on the screen here, and you have a copy of. The 2000 plan did a couple things about that. They did have a urban service area boundary added to that. That indicated what areas could be served by infrastructure, particularly water and sewer, within 5 and 10 years after that. That gave some guidelines to the areas where the city would grow. Since that adoption in 05, the city's approved several sub-area plans listed here too, and obviously a big thing was the real estate downturn, the housing downturn in 08, 09 affected the city quite a bit in terms of the future boundaries of that. So that's something we need to take a look at and be realistic in terms of the growth of the city in terms of residential. And then look at some changes regarding, commercial, our data center, Facebook, the areas down by 88, obviously probably expanding those areas down there and making some changes. So I have done several of sub-area plans. Those are listed most recently. Of course, AGN plan from 2018. So the plan will have to incorporate those. We can't dismiss them, but things have changed, since some of those were done. So we'll have to take a look at that. And if it warrants some changes, we'll take a look at that. But we have to build off those previous plans and then add to it. Will be, as I mentioned, the public input will be critical. Taking a look at, and I use doing some long-range planning too. So the way we set the schedule up, this is very rough. So the rest of the summer we'll do inventory, analyze our data collection. The census info will come out for 2020 in September, I believe, so that'll be timely. We'll look at goals and objectives through the September, October. Draft future land use plan, getting public input, of course, towards the end of the year. Then the first quarter of 2022, look at the final plan review, hearing in front of the commission, and then forward on to the city council for final action. So again, no recommendation at this time. I did copy the large size copies of the zoning map, comp plan map. It's a city boundary, current city boundary map with points of interest on there. Kind of give you an idea where city boundaries are at. That was a good map the county has done. The zoning, and this is a boundary agreement map that we have. We have boundary agreements with Sycamore and Cortland, so let's kind of show what areas that could be annexed in those areas that share a common border with those two communities. So going forward, you can take a look at the current plan, the sub-area plans, get a little idea what those recommendations were. And the little task that Bill actually came up with was take a look at the current city boundaries and then take a little field visit around the community and kind of go to the four corners and where do you think in 5 to 10 years the city's boundaries should be, and maybe mark on a plan. So that gives you a good idea to kind of learn where the city boundaries are, what we did plan in the future, and what you kind of perceive this visually where the city could grow. Certainly if you have any factors or things that you want to take a look at as we go through the process, let us know. I know Bill wanted to have a few comments here at the end regarding the comp plan and moving forward. So, Bill?
Thank you. Members of the commission, you don't often see me here, and you're probably wondering, what's that guy doing here? Stick to his own business. I'm here because I say with some conviction and the authority of the years I've spent and many others have spent in this government business, that what you're about to embark on and what the council and the mayor ultimately will have a lot of say about is one of the most important things that government does in the state of Illinois, certainly in our community. It didn't escape you, I'm sure, as you looked at what was sent to you, that you see all that yellow on there, which is low-density, single-family residential. Do you really think we're going to go out with houses into those areas? That's a question you ask yourself. I'm not looking for an answer. And actually, that prompted a comment that I made to Dan. In years past, when I have worked on these with communities that I've served, one of the fun tasks that I've asked commissioners to consider is to get in your vehicles and go to the four corners, so to speak, and look back at wherever you can see the center of town and decide whether you're still in Kansas or you're still in DeKalb anymore. And it's an interesting conversation starter, but it also gets juices going about such things as this, which will be part of the final product. So you want to be proud and happy with the consensus that's reached on that. There's another reason why this is important. As you looked, Dan did a nice job of setting this up for us tonight. As you look, though, at the list of the sub-area plans and the various offshoots of the 2005 plan, you see a lot of work that was done, a lot of community work that was done. How many of these do you look at often? And how many of these do you think still stand up in terms of how we've developed, at least land use wise? And then here's another general question. Do you think the land use map says enough about what you think this community should be and look like in the next 5 to 10 years? Obviously, there's a community development piece to this that has more to do with how we engage each other, how we recreate, how we work, how we live in this community. And that's beyond whether we have residential, commercial, or industrial uses in large land areas that are colored yellow, blue, green, and all the rest of that. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. Unfortunately, the work piles up with each year, right? 2005, we probably should have been doing this in 10 and 15 and 20, and here we are. So I see it as a good challenge, though. A lot of things have happened without any particular community planning at all, and some things have happened exactly as we planned them. The most recent really viable and still viable and dynamic plan is the Integrated North Plan. That's still evolving and playing out. But the redevelopment piece, the actual land redevelopment piece, is still to take some kind of a shape or head toward a final shape. So that's something we can look at. It's not too late to weigh in. The council has already weighed in some important respects with commitments to buying property, which ultimately will be others' job to redevelop. Here's another thing to consider as we go forward. The area where Farrar and Facebook was corn and soybeans until just about a little over a year ago. And it had been slated since 2006, a lot of it, about half of it anyway, for a variety of things, commercial, a little bit of industrial up by the tollway, some residential even. It was going to be one of those classic cookie cutter planning outcomes where we transition to a mostly rural residential type of topography. And nothing wrong with that. That made a lot of sense at the time, but now look where we are. So I think it would be very useful at this time to look at the area along the Peace Road corridor again, particularly east of Peace and then east of where the south now of I-88 and east of where Farrar is and east of where Facebook is. How far do you want to go? And then east of there, where we have some utilities, what do you want to see? More of the most recent development or something else? So lots to do. I think it'll be a very engaging process. I think we ought to make it fun as much as we can. We'll have a lot of long evenings. I think, I hate to say this, as nice as this schedule is, I think it's a very aggressive schedule. It may not look like that as you're sitting here. A lot of other rhythms come into play, the work and life rhythms that you all have to deal with. The city gives birth to a fiscal budget that starts in earnest in August, and about the time we're showing that we're going to come up with some pretty hard goals and objectives, will be the time that the council is thoroughly involved in with the Finance Advisory Committee and working on a budget. So in some ways that's good, because some of this work that you're going to do is going to have a price tag to it, and some of it isn't. So I'm happy to join you in this, and I'll be working. We've got a good staff team here, and I know the mayor and council are very eager to work on this with you. Thanks for a few minutes.
Just correct me if I'm wrong, as a reminder, the current 2005 comprehensive plan is available online, isn't it?
Yes, it's on our website.
So for anyone that wants to take a look at where we stood then and obviously where we'd like to go, it would be nice, I guess,
Yeah.
if everybody participated.
As are all the sub-area plans too, and all the maps I showed you. The one is a county map, but yeah, those are on the page under community development under planning and zoning page.
Okay. Thank you both.
So I guess we got some reading to do.
We do. There's quite a bit, and I actually have a hard copy of this somewhere sitting in my office from years ago. But it is, as Bill pointed out, it is very important, and it is it's challenging because things have changed so drastically over the years. But being able to forecast that and plan toward it is important. Very important.
Yeah, if maybe wants a hard copy of one of the plans, sub-area plans, let me know. And
Well, that,
we'll run
in
that off
essence,
for you.
that's what you sent us with the attachment.
Yeah, I sent the 05 comp plan and then the website link to the other
Which is
sub-area plans.
117 pages of reading.
Yeah, the lot there,
Very interesting, though.
a lot of them have just summary pages or, the goals at the end. Those are usually good to kind of look at to get all the, because there's a lot of backup information in there and existing data years ago, but they all have, summaries and implementation policies at the end and, kind of the goals. So those are, if you're looking to look at something quick, that's a good place to go.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see the pre-collapse, economic collapse from 2005, and as you're reading through it, you go, oh, yeah, and this is why Debonair Farms wasn't completed, and this is why,
Yeah, there's interesting history of what went into those plans at that time, what was going on, yeah.
Okay, well, again, you're absolutely right, Trish. We have a lot of reading to do, and hopefully we can present something that has the vision of us going forward in the direction and with the abilities that we have today, and as opposed to then, and look for it to be amended again as along the way. So, with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Do you want any reports or?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you
Yeah.
have staff reports?
Just quick, yeah, the next commission meeting schedule is June 21st. No hearings. We did receive final plans in from Safe Passage. In their rezoning ordinance last year, they were required to submit a final plan, which include engineering, landscaping, architectural renderings, lighting plan to the city that would be reviewed by staff, the commission, and also the city council. So they've got the engineering plan in, and the elevations are waiting for the landscaping and lighting plan. Once those are in and reviewed, staff will get that on a commission meeting. I don't know if that'll be the 21st, if not, probably July 6th. That's the first meeting in July. That's a Tuesday night. The city's closed for the holiday on the 5th, the Monday, because the 4th's on a Sunday, so that meeting, July 6th, is on a Tuesday. Previous action by the commission on the council meeting, May 24th, the council did approve on a unanimous level the special use permit for 400 and 444 East Hillcrest with the apartments on the upper levels by Chuck Shepard, so that was approved first and second reading. And we received a petition that we'll set a hearing and we'll get a copy to the commission, 304 North 10th Street, for a rezoning. It's currently residential conservation. It was a former older commercial building. The petitioner wants to do a couple apartments on the upper level, an office, and a convenience store on the bottom level. He currently has a convenience store gift shop not too far from that location. So that hearing, probably July 6th on that one. That's all. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I apologize. Okay, with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Nobody
wanted to leave.
Moved by Mr. Wright. We were having too much fun.
I second.
Seconded by Mr. Flaherty. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, and thank you very much.
So Dan, do you expect that we will